playing in New York, you were playing as a fullback, and that really was instrumental to you. Is that fair to retiring?
The Giants did not have me technically playing fullback, but that concept is usually built for fullback type bodies. But it's like I don't really feel like I was being put in positions for what made me unique to shine. I was filling through the B gap, hitting linebackers and running stick routes, and it's like he ain't getting the best out of me doing that.
Welcome to the Schultz Report, presented by Fanatic Sportsbook. I'm your host, NFL insider Jordan Schultz. With 5 weeks of the NFL season in the books, we're talking about 5 sneaky teams that you need to pay attention to right now and 5 players that people aren't talking about enough. So I'll do it for them. Keyshawn Johnson will, of course, be tapping in with us to share his thoughts, and we'll be joined by Dolphins standout tight end Darren Waller, who after stepping away from the game for 2 whole years is making an immediate impact on his team and for the fantasy teams. Anyone smart enough to pick him up, you're saying thank you so much, which includes, of course, me in 1, albeit not 2 of my leagues. But before all of that, we do have some things that we need to talk about. Listen, we all know that officiating the NFL is very difficult. The game is fast, it's complex, it's subjective, there's a lot of gray area. But week to week, game to game, I am constantly reminded that NFL officiating is simply not good enough. Saints-Giants, week 5, Jackson Dart is sacked. It was a pretty innocuous play. It was a clean sack. What happens? Personal foul, roughing the passer, 15-yard penalty, and like every NFL fan watching, I lost my shit. And real time, I decided to take to Twitter. I said, this is unacceptable. It's inexplicable. So it got me thinking, what's the solution? What can we do to hold NFL refs accountable? Because quite frankly, the players they're refereeing are held accountable. They're fined. And that's exactly it. You got to find these dudes. You got to go into the pockets, just like the players, and hold the NFL officials accountable for their actions. I don't know if it's $25K. I don't know if it's a game check. Look, the bottom line is fans deserve better. But you know who really deserves better? The players. These are modern day gladiators, week to week, putting their bodies on the line. And if we're holding them accountable, then quite frankly, the refs also need to be held accountable. And that's the only way we're going to see legitimate improvement to the game we all love. I'm also having a hard time understanding the goal line gaffes that are occurring way too frequently and costing teams critical games. We've seen it pretty much every week, it feels like. We saw it with the Cardinals last week with Amari DiMercato. He had a 75-yard, basically, touchdown run, and at the 1-yard line, he drops the football, ultimately gets a touch back. The Cardinals end up losing the game. And here's what I don't understand. If you're taught from a young age, number one priority, value the football, then why are we constantly dropping the ball, bobbling it at the 1-yard line? It seems to me super counterintuitive. I actually asked Rachaad White on my show, Why is Draymond Green Talking About Football? Rachaad White, obviously running back for the Bucs. I asked him what happens then, and he said basically, well, you feel badly for a dude, you also need to be better. And that's exactly my point. You are costing your team the game. And really, this is quite possibly the biggest self-inflicted wound in the game today. You've done all the work. And I actually think it's interesting that we don't see these plays on the goal line. Like on a 3rd and goal from the 5, a dude rushes into the end zone. You don't see it. You see it on a wide open run or a catch and score opportunity from 50 yards out, 70 yards out. It's very self-induced. It's the ultimate mental error. I don't know what the solution is, but I do know that seeing Amari DiMercato get obliterated by his head coach, Jonathan Gannon, who since apologized, is not a good look. In other words, I don't want to see that if I'm a fan. I know how hard, or I can imagine how hard Amari DiMercato has worked to get to this point, and you're seeing it pretty much every week now. And we've actually seen it a lot in college over the years, but now it's rearing its ugly head in the NFL. And as an NFL fan, first and foremost, this is something that, quite frankly, needs to stop. It's muddying up our game. It's creating all types of issues for players, for the fans. Nobody wants to see it. Let's end it before it gets completely out of control. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about 5 sneaky teams that if they continue their upswing, continue to put the pieces together, and if they can stay hot, could mess up some real playoff plans. Now, these aren't the elite teams just yet that have proven they're a cut above the rest, like, say, Philly, Buffalo, Tampa or Indy or even the Lions, these teams are in the second or maybe even third tier. But if you take them for granted, don't prepare for what they could become, you could find yourself in a dog fight. First up, fresh off of handing the reigning champs their first L of the season, the Denver Broncos at 3-2 in the AFC West. With the Chargers coming off 2 straight losses, the Broncos are looking dangerous. So before the season, we really liked Denver on the show. We actually had the opportunity to visit Broncos training camp. We felt like that team, if they stayed healthy, because of their defense, because of Bo Nix in year 2, and because of Sean Payton, had a real opportunity to have success this season. So week 5, they're down 17-3 at the Link, at Philly. Bo Nix did not look very good the first couple hours of that game. He found something because all of a sudden the Denver offense was humming. Bo Nix quietly now 11th in passing yards, and you really saw him find his rhythm in that Philadelphia game. The reason that's so important to me is twofold. 1, Philadelphia's defense is really, really good. 2, if Denver's going to make the type of run we believe they can, it'll be in large part because Nix takes that big step. And we saw him make a couple of big-time throws. I love what I'm seeing, too, from Nick Bonito. He was an all-pro last season, 13.5 sacks. I think he's been better this season, pass rusher out of Oklahoma. Patrick Surtain, the defensive player of the year, has been dominant. And Denver right now has a plus 33 point differential despite their 2 losses, which, by the way, are to 2 really good teams, the Chargers and Colts. And those were for a combined 4 points. You could actually make the argument that Sean Payton and company are really 2 plays away from 5-0. And with their next 5 games versus the Jets, home against the Giants and Cowboys, away for the Texans, and home for the Raiders, the Broncos could very well be 8-2, 7-3, and looking like a legitimate contender out of the AFC West. Next up, the Dallas Cowboys, who at 2-1 in the NFC East, and with Dak Prescott, yes, Dak Prescott playing like a legitimate MVP candidate. You got CeeDee Lamb coming back. If things do fall into place, the Cowboys could make things very, very interesting. Now, my big takeaway with Dallas is they are finally figuring out who they want to be offensively. I mentioned Prescott. He is second in the league right now in passing yards, 3rd in touchdowns. He's really maximizing all of his receivers, most notably George Pickens, who since the CeeDee Lamb injury has come in and become a legitimate number 1 wideout. He has 5 touchdowns. Jake Ferguson has 3. Ryan Flournoy recently had a breakout game. We talked about CeeDee Lamb. He will come back. But really the key to me throughout all of this is Javonte Williams. He has 5 touchdowns out of the backfield. He's 3rd in the league in rushing. And that is what they have not had in the past. Dallas has finally found an identity offensively. And Dak Prescott, with the play-action game now very effective because of how well Williams has run the football, is suddenly looking like the Dak Prescott we saw 2-3 years ago. This is a dangerous Dallas offense. Now, the defense under first-year DC Matt Eberflus was really good against the Jets. If they can even be adequate league average because of the way they move the football, Dallas is going to be in a lot of games. So Dallas now goes at Carolina, home Washington, at Denver, and then home for Arizona and at the Raiders. If they can win 3 of those 5, which is not crazy considering how well the offense is playing, then they're looking at 5-4-1, which is pretty respectable and pretty legit in the NFC East. Next, we got the Cowboys divisional rival, the 3-2 Commanders, coming off a big win at the Chargers. They're 3-2. Jaden Daniels is back, and even without Terry McLaurin, he's still through for 231 against a very good Chargers defense. The key for me, Deebo Samuel, 300 yards on the season now, 3 touchdowns. He has looked really good. He's looked refreshed. Most importantly, he looks like he has been on the same page consistently with Daniels. Talked about McLaurin. When he comes back, you consider his connection we already know coming off an all-pro season with Jaden Daniels. That's going to be massive. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, the rookie, the man they call Bill, he has been absolutely lethal. Thanks to me for trading him to Taylor Rooks. You're welcome, Taylor, in my fantasy league. An absolutely pathetic move, once again, by me, who's now 0-5 in my fantasy league. But enough about my lack of fantasy prowess. Actually, can I just say one more thing? You know how hard it is to go 0-5 in fantasy football? I've done it. So with the Commanders' next 5 at home versus the Bears at Dallas in a critical game for both teams at the Chiefs, and then at home for Seattle and Detroit, it's a tough road for Washington. So if Washington can just weather the storm, go 2-3, 3-2, all things considered, pretty good spot to be in. Remember, they had the Jaden Daniels injury. They're still dealing with Terry McLaurin injury. And remember, they also have a big intercontinental matchup against the Dolphins in Spain. The NFC East is maybe a little bit more open than we thought. And Washington looks a little bit more like the team we expected them to be, the team that went to the NFC Championship game last season. Next up at 3-2 and a very tight NFC North, a team that's been across the globe for a couple of weeks now, the Minnesota Vikings. Now, at some point, you're going to get J.J. McCarthy back. And props to Carson Wentz. He has kept the ship afloat. He has done exactly what the Vikings needed him to do and exactly what you'd hope from your backup quarterback. Essentially, don't make mistakes, keep you in games, and allow, in this case, Brian Flores' defense to control tempo. He's done that. When McCarthy comes back, coupled with Jordan Addison being back in the mix after his 3-game suspension, you have an opportunity, if you're Minnesota, to do some real damage in the NFC North. And I think the key here is discovering what J.J. McCarthy is. And this is the beauty of Kevin O'Connell. This is why he's one of the premier offensive coaches, quarterback gurus in all of football. He will find what J.J. McCarthy does really, really well and maximize that while simultaneously minimizing the things that maybe he's not there yet on. So I'm excited about his return. I'm excited about Minnesota. And quite frankly, I'm surprised that they're 3-2 and that Carson Wentz was able to throw that game winner. That was a crucial win for the Vikings over the Browns, able to split, go 1-1 in Europe, and then come back with an opportunity to stay afloat in the NFC North. So with McCarthy back, not to mention Addison back, Jettis getting his swag back, the Vikings, after the next 5 games, which includes, they got a bye this week, at home Philly, away against the slumping Chargers, Ford Field in Detroit, and then at home against the decimated Ravens and Bears. So I'm going to go 5-5 for the Vikings after 10, which really puts them in a position to make that second half playoff push in the NFC. And lastly, after handing the reigning MVP Josh Allen and the previously invincible Buffalo Bills their first loss of the season, the 3-2 Patriots are now in contention, that's right, in the AFC East. Now, the key for me, Drake Maye is playing like the Drake Maye we all hoped we would see this season in year 2. Now, what I love from Drake Maye wasn't just the 70% completion percentage, it was the way in which he did it. He had a couple throws to Stephon Diggs under heavy duress, on the move, in clutch situations that make me believe Drake Maye at some point in his career is going to be a top 5 quarterback in this league. He was amazing. He was almost perfect in the second half. He went 13 of 14, 184 yards. That's the Drake Maye that made him such a coveted pick, and that's the Drake Maye that I think Mike Vrabel believes he can mold into a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. Now, Stephon Diggs also took the Bills game personally. That was his best game in 2 years, really since before the ACL injury. He was tremendous, and the Patriots have now won. This is the craziest stat. The Patriots have now won 2 straight for the first time since 2022. And by the way, the Patriots defense, which is really Mike Vrabel's calling card, they held James Cook to 49 yards on 15 carries, snapping his streak of 8 games with a rushing touchdown. So the Patriots, their next 5, at New Orleans, at Tennessee, home versus the Browns, the Falcons, and finally at the Bucs. I'm going to go 7-3. I believe in Drake Maye. I believe in Mike Vrabel. And if I'm the Bills for the first time all season, my antennas are up. So where does that leave the Jaguars after their statement win against the Chiefs on Monday Night Football? The Jaguars have earned their right to be considered among the AFC's elite and maybe the NFL's elite. And how about Trevor Lawrence? This was the Trevor Lawrence against the Chiefs that made him the number 1 pick, that made him what we believe to be a generational prospect. He made some dynamite throws under heavy duress. I thought the final drive When they're down 4, you have to have 7. It's a 3rd and long conversion. He drops it in the bucket to Brian Thomas Jr. That throw, the throw to De'Ami Brown inside the 10, and then the touchdown run where his center steps on his foot. He loses his balance. He goes down. He actually said after the game it was chaos on the ground. He was going to throw it away, but then he had the presence in mind, real time, to, okay, make the decision. I'm going to run this in. I have the ability to run this. That was unbelievable. And that was as big a play as Trevor Lawrence has made in his NFL career. Got to give a lot of credit to first-year head coach Liam Cohen, the former OC of the Bucs. He has re-energized this franchise. We had Eric Armstead, their standout defensive lineman, on our show with Draymond this week, or last week, I should say. And he said that Liam Cohen has changed the culture, really the perception. But it's not just him. It's a first-year OC, DC. It's just an entirely new staff, first-year GM. All of that has galvanized the Jaguars. They're now 4-1, and they look as good as anyone because defensively, they lead the league in takeaways. This was a defense that last year couldn't take the ball from a baby. They were awful, and they have totally changed, flipped the script, both sides of the ball, special teams. So the Jaguars at 4-1 are the real deal. And now with the Seahawks coming into town, the 4-1 Jags have another statement opportunity because Seattle is a really good team. Seattle has shown with Sam Darnold in that defense, although they were a little shaky against Tampa, but they have shown to be a playoff caliber team themselves. If Jacksonville can beat the Seahawks and go 5-1, that'll be a big wake-up call that for the first time in a long time, things are finally different in Duval. And now for 5 players we absolutely need to be talking about more. Darren Waller. Welcome back, my man. 3 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. And since his return, he has completely changed the Dolphins offense. I would actually say this. Other than Tyler Warren, I can't think of a tight end playing better football than Darren Waller. He's been that good. He's the only tight end, by the way. I know it's a small sample size, but nevertheless, the only tight end in pro football with a 90-plus PFF receiving grade. Darren Waller is back. Next up, George Pickens. We told you to draft this guy in fantasy. He's got as many tugs, 5 in 5 weeks, as his career high with the Steelers in 2023. So he is on pace right now, George Pickens, for 1,213 yards receiving, 17 touchdowns. That's how well he has played. He has been downright dominant. I loved his matchup against Sauce Gardner, 2 greats who really went at it last Sunday at the Meadowlands. And when I think about George Pickens, he is going to be enhanced by CeeDee Lamb coming back. In other words, right now, he is drawing the best corner every week. When Lamb comes back, you can't just focus on one. You got 2 bona fide number 1 wideouts. So really happy for George Pickens, who, by the way, is in a contract here. That was a great trade by Dallas. And Dak Prescott clearly has a major connection with him early on. Next up, Jackson Smith-Njigba has been as good as any receiver in football. In 3 of 5 games, he has over 100 yards. Clearly, Sam Darnold's go-to weapon. And this really is the JSN we thought we would see this season. Seattle's offense has been terrific. They look like a playoff team. It's the balance. It's the body control. It's the big clutch catches. He's second in the league in receiving, by the way. Nobody league-wide, to me, is talking about JSN like the dominant force he is. And I know we spoke about him earlier, but I don't care. I'm going to do it again. Drake Maye has looked as advertised for the Patriots. The 3-2 Patriots who just snapped Buffalo's 14-game home winning streak on Sunday Night Football. Drake Maye, it's the big arm. It's the athleticism, but really to me, it's that clutch gene. It's the winning formula. You can trust him. You know it feels like he's going to make the right decision every time. And you feel like when the game is in the balance, Drake Maye is going to come through. That's the mark of a great quarterback. That was the mark of Tom Brady for decades. If I'm a Patriots fan, this is the first time I feel great about who's under center since Tom Brady left. And last but certainly not least, Giants rookie Abdul Carter. He was the Week 4 PFF Rookie of the Week and 35 pass rush snaps. He recorded 8 total pressures, including 5 quarterback hits. I just am so impressed with his speed, his power, and his athleticism. This was why he was thought to be a generational pass rusher coming out of Penn State. This was why we heard and saw a lot of those Micah Parsons comparisons Abdul Carter, as advertised for the Giants, that front is really good, but Abdul Carter as good as any rookie we've seen in a long time. Let's welcome back to the show, Mr. Give Me the Damn Ball, Keyshawn Johnson, storied author, storied football player, and storied twirler. Go Trojans. Key, I love that sweatshirt.
Well, I mean, you only get to wear it if you actually went to the university, right?
Well, yeah,
You
because I
could,
went to a college, and,
yeah,
colleges aren't really, they're like a second tier. We're a second-class citizen.
that's all right. You still get a degree. You're all right. I think you'll be just fine. Let's put it that way.
Small side note, when I was graduating, Occidental College, which is in your neck of the woods, it's in Eagle Rock, right by Pasadena. When I was graduating, there was a slight concern that I might have had a hiccup in my creative writing class, English, of all things. And my parents were worried that, they'd be going down the list, Simons, whatever, and then they'd skip Schultz. And I had to reassure them, not knowing fully if it was going to happen, that I was going to graduate. Ultimately, I did. I passed, but it was
Yeah,
close.
you got your degree and you haven't used it yet. So
Correct.
go figure. Go figure.
Correct. Key, last week, we both predicted that the Bills and Eagles would not lose. Actually, you did. I think you did. Would not lose until much later in the season. The Bills game, let's start with that. Not only the loss, but your takeaway from Drake Maye, who looked really good.
He's been looking good all year long for the most part. I mean, you got to still think about this as his rookie year, not as his second year. Just because of the new head coach in town, a new coordinator in town. He was, in and out last season with the New England Patriots. So things start fresh for him. But I was worried about this Buffalo game just based on my parlay. I had a feeling that the New England Patriots would go in and beat them. So I tried to protect myself on the plus side with Buffalo because you got Vrabel. There's a divisional game, a conference game. Vrabel's seen this Buffalo Bills team before. So is Josh McDaniels. They know all about the system and the quarterback and what Buffalo's all about in terms of playing there. So I was a little worried going into that game that New England could come out with a W.
Drake Maye made like 2 or 3 big time throws. And
Yes.
that was the kind of Sunday night showcase game against a really good team that maybe America wasn't expecting. But now when you see him do that, what's the upside for Drake Maye? What can he become? How good can he be, you think?
I think he's going to be real good. Obviously, you continue to get better offensive weapons around him. Stephon Diggs had a monster game.
Yeah.
Clearly, he was locked and loaded and ready to go against his former team. But you surround him with playmakers. You get him a tight end, a running back, a couple of receivers, and shore up the offensive line. You continue to keep growing. Again, Jordan, he's essentially a rookie. Okay, that's really what he is. He's a rookie quarterback that has a really good offensive coordinator and a good head coach.
What did you like from Bo Nix and your guy Sean Payton? Because they were down 17-3 and they came all the way back.
Yeah, they fought. They fought. I mean, and that's just a sign of great coaching and no panic. And when you can look to the sideline and see no panic in your coach's face, that's an assurance that you can get the job done and you guys are going to be in a good position at the end of the game. And I think when you watch what Sean and company was able to do, dialing things up at the right time, running the football, mixing it with a little bit of pass, they didn't lean heavy on Bo Nix to make him all of a sudden the guy. Too many times, and I talk to my friends about this all the time as we watch games, too many times, Jordan, you'll learn this, that coaches have a problem by trying to win a certain way. You don't need to do that. Just win the fucking game. Stop trying to win a certain way. And you look up, and that's kind of what bit Sean McVay on Thursday night. He's trying to win a certain way. Just win the damn game. We don't care how it looks. Just win it. And I think that's what Sean Payton was able to do. He just went out there and won the game. He didn't try to make Bo Nix the hero.
Is that what John Gruden did?
Well, a lot of coaches, not just JG, a lot of coaches get caught up in trying to feature certain guys. Even your Pete Carroll in Seattle got caught up in trying to make Russell Wilson a certain MVP to make it look a certain way. Turn around, hand the football off to Marshawn Lynch, score a touchdown, get your second Super Bowl. That's not what he wanted to do. He wanted to make it look a certain way.
What about Jacksonville? I don't know, man. Like I've been waiting for Trevor Lawrence. I think we all have to take a big step. I don't know if he did.
It's hard to take a big step when you got 4 head coaches in 4 years, right? Or whatever
And
the
one of them
number
was
is for
Urban
him.
Meyer. That counts as like 10.
Yeah, you get drafted by Urban, who's coming from college, who doesn't understand the pro game and how things work from a pro standpoint. Great college coach, different environment in the pros. Nick Saban found that out real fast, although he coached in the pros in Cleveland with Bill Belichick. But when he got his lone job with the
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins, he said, I got to get the hell out of here, man. I'm going. I got to get back to LSU because I can't control things. Now Trevor Lawrence has a pro coach who's been coaching on the offensive side of the ball, and now you got a real guy that can put you in certain positions to excel. You got playmakers around you everywhere with Travis Etienne and Thomas at the receiver position. So you start looking and you saying to yourself, okay, he could potentially be a really, really good player. That once in a lifetime generational player that they talked about when he came out in the draft. I'm not ready to go there yet, but he's certainly showing a lot of promise at what he's been able to do this year.
So they have a first-year head coach in Liam Cohen, who did a lot for Baker Mayfield. When you make the change and you have a coach like that, an offensive coach, a quarterback coach, what are some of the things that he can do for a guy like Trevor Lawrence?
Well, he talks to him a certain way, right? He's been coaching the quarterbacks. He knows the pulse. He knows how to communicate. It's all about communication. And if you can communicate and Trevor Lawrence can trust coach and let him know, hey, I like these plays, I don't like these plays, and the coach is okay with that. Now Trevor Lawrence starts to build a certain confidence. And when something goes wrong, he's not motherfucking him and treating him wrong and making him feel like he's less than. He's helping him through the progress, right? He's helping him through the mistakes. He's coaching him up, and that's what he's able to do with Baker. And Baker Mayfield's kind of been on the go ever since. Well, he ever since Baker's been in Tampa, he's had good offensive coordinators that's gone on to get head coaching jobs. So obviously they've done a tremendous job with him, and they've taken that on to the other stops to try to help those quarterbacks out. One's really, really working in Jacksonville. The other in Carolina, you know, the Canales, but I mean, the quarterback situation in Carolina is not necessarily ideal for me. They fight hard, right? They fight hard, but in the end, I don't think that thing's going to work out the way that they envisioned 3 years ago.
Yeah. What about this current state of NFL refs? Is there anything that can be done? Anything at all?
What's wrong with it? Tell me, because I don't think there's anything wrong. It's the same thing. Look, they argued calls when I played. Okay? They argued calls. They went under the hood when I played. They missed calls when I played. Okay? Guys fumbled when I played. There's nothing different. The only thing that's different now is instead of having 3 social media outlets when I was playing that was talking about whatever on MySpace and all that other stuff, now you got 6,000 million places to land content, and everything is scrutinized. The referees is doing the same thing.
Keyshawn, they didn't even have dial-up when you played.
No, stop. I didn't play that long ago, but I get it.
Did they even have TVs did they have color TV when you played?
No, they had TVs. They didn't probably have the flat screens all the way around like you had at home, but that's,
we got all the flat screens. Yeah. Oh, okay. But I said earlier, why don't we just start fining referees? Let's fine them. We hold players accountable.
What are you fining them for? Human error? I mean, like, what did a ref do? He missed the call. It's different. Okay, look. If you told me the New Orleans Saints game that the referee blindly missed in the playoffs, the dude gets splattered and blasted all over the field, and he's standing right there looking at it.
Oh, against the Rams? The Rams game.
Against the Rams. If you tell me fine him for that, he shouldn't be working or fire him for that, I would probably say yeah, because he's standing right there. But if I'm at a distance and I'm not 100% sure something happened, but I think it happened, and I'm not 100% sure and I don't throw my flag, why should I be fined because I couldn't see something clearly?
I don't know, man. We hold the players accountable. They're holding such a you're such a high standard. But when the refs
If
screw
that
up,
you do, but it's human error. You know how fast those things are going,
I
man.
know it's very hard.
Things are happening. They're not just watching Jordan Schultz. They're looking at 22 different players and trying to, I understand there's certain assignments for the umpire and the line judge and the back judge, and there's certain areas that they got to look. But even in those areas that they're responsible for, there's a lot of shit going on. So it's just
Right.
difficult. It's
It's
just
hard.
difficult.
To that point, Key, what was your relationship with the refs when you played? And I'm sure you got to know a lot of these guys on first name basis, just trying to get any edge you could.
My rookie year when I got into the league, it took them a minute to kind of understand who I was and what type of player I was and how I would react to certain things. By the time I got to my third year, I was a made man with referees, right? First name basis, see them in the airports, fly with them sometimes on planes, catch them in places,
For,
just you see them out.
for first name basis.
Yeah,
Forget
you
that.
always,
That was my question. Fly with them
yeah.
on planes.
Yeah, you would see them out at the airports, right? You would see them, and they would fly home after a game, or you would
Okay,
have a
okay. And
bye
you
week,
would
for
say,
instance, and
hey,
we would be
Mark,
on
why
the
don't you
same
come sit
flight.
with me? I'll get you upgraded to first class.
No, none of that. None of that type of conversation, but more so you see them in the airport, right? Or you see them at a hotel, or you just
Right.
see them out and about, and you have a conversation with them. Like normal human beings. You don't treat them any different, but you know them on first name basis. And one of the things that all of my coaches, especially the Parcells regime, was extremely good about Saturday night meetings. We knew every referee. We got reminded again on Sundays or Mondays before the game about those referees. Here's Walt. He's going to call the game. Ed's going to call the game. This crew doesn't like holding. They're going to watch you, Key, for pushing off. They've called whatever 80% of their PIs have been on the offensive side. So be careful. Da 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 da. So now I can take that in pregame while I'm out on the field and I see him out there. Hey, what's up, Ed? Man, how you doing? I can smooch with him a little bit. How's your son doing? You want
I
to
heard he
play
just
with him
got bar
and make him
mitzvah.
happy. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yep, there you go.
I know you always want to get the kids the presents. Key loves the kids.
You got to always find an edge on an
Something,
angle
right.
to
So
take
then they say,
advantage
"Oh, I
of the
appreciate you
situation.
asking. Did you know
Exactly.
like kids' name, like Mark's name?
Not all their kids. Maybe a couple that have come to games throughout the years and was there pregame, and
Maybe
you
sign a
walked over.
little something for
Yeah,
him.
you signed up for him. Hey, man, I'll give you my gloves after the game. You just, you know, that's it. It works like that.
Hey, if I can get that DPI,
Jordan, there's a play. And I can't remember the year though, but I was in Tampa and we're playing Cincinnati, and it's so funny because me and TJ Hushmanzada always talks about it.
yeah.
It was like 3rd and 28, and it was long, and I ran a comeback on Cincinnati sideline, and I literally pushed the dude down. The whole stadium erupted. Everybody.
OPI no
They
call.
throw me the ball, I catch it, boom, first down, let's move the chains. The whole Cincinnati bench went crazy. I should have been flagged twice for that one. But the referee, for whatever reason, he didn't see it.
That must have been Mark, whose son Marcus you signed for. I mean, it had to be one of those situations.
I don't know, man, but it was yeah. I'm sure he got reprimanded for that one.
How about some sneaky teams that have maybe surprised you? For example, Indianapolis, a team like that you didn't anticipate being at this place at this point in the season.
Indy's not one of those teams that I didn't anticipate being at this place and during the season because I felt like Daniel Jones was a much better quarterback than Anthony Richardson. He just needed to get to a proper destination to show his skill set. Sometimes you're in the wrong place in New York and it just didn't work out. And so everybody assumes he can't play. Sam Darnold like, Baker Mayfield like, right? But Jacksonville, I didn't think would be here because Liam Cohen, first time head coach, quarterback that we still trying to figure out what he is. So that didn't really feel like they were going to be there. Atlanta, is teetering. They're up and down. Kind of like teetering along. I thought they were going to be a complete disaster. Um, Carolina, I would say, is kind of like hovering around. Not great, but they fighting. These teams are fighting. The New Orleans Saints, not great first time head coach, quarterback suspect, but they're fighting. When I start looking at those type of teams, I don't expect them to be there. And the normals, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I expect to be there with Aaron Rodgers, right? I expect to see Buffalo where they're at. I expect to see the Chargers, Denver, all of those type of teams. That's easy. That's easy money. Seattle's easy money. It's the teams that are kind of hanging around, Jordan. They haven't crossed over into the major winning category, but they're fighting. They're
Yeah.
fighting. And those type of teams in the end are going to be around, and there's going to be a couple of those teams that are going to make the playoffs, and we're going to sit there and go, well, I didn't see this coming. It's every single year. This isn't the NBA.
Yeah, to that point is Dallas. I didn't
Dallas
think,
is fine.
I didn't think Dallas would be this competent offensively with Brian
Yeah,
Schottenheimer.
they're fine. But Brian Schottenheimer is a veteran offensive mind in the National Football League. When you pair him with the New York Jets or you pair him with Seattle and it doesn't work out, there's a number of reasons things don't work. Is his offense compatible to the defensive scheme that the teams are running? Do they get the ball back too fast and he's not ready? I mean, it's all sorts of things that go in to coaching before we say something's a disaster. You can't do that. You have to give it time to be able, and then you say, yeah, this is probably not for him. But right now, it's still the jury's still out, right? Shotty's done a tremendous job in terms of keeping Dak Prescott right there. If they had a few more wins, we would be talking MVP for Dak. But I don't mind them at all without CeeDee Lamb.
This version of Dak Prescott right now, I don't know who's playing better at the quarterback position. Maybe Baker
That's
Mayfield.
why I said what I said. That's why
Dak
I said what
and
I
Baker.
said. If they had maybe one or two more wins, that conversation probably, and they didn't get run out of the building against Chicago, that conversation would probably be top 5 MVP candidates today, and he would be in there somewhere. Now, look, Baker Mayfield's playing tremendous. Dak Prescott is playing tremendous. Sam Darnold's playing pretty freaking
Sam
good.
Darnold, that's a good one.
Okay, that interception,
impressed.
that interception wasn't on Sam.
Oh, you mean to close out the Tampa game against the Helmet?
To close out the game. That wasn't on him.
Yeah.
He got rushed. He tried to get rid of the football and just got a hell of a lucky bounce for the defending team. That's the defending team. That's it. I mean, and you look at Daniel Jones. Where Daniel Jones was at to where he is today, he's playing some pretty damn good football, man. Really is.
What is it about Darnold, though, that – because obviously you know him well from his SC days. He was great last year. What have you seen from him that has – like, what is he doing really well?
Well, I think when you have been through other organizations that, throw you away like trash, then all of a sudden you get an opportunity to go to a foundation like San Francisco and you play one or two games under Shanahan and John Lynch, then you move on to Minnesota and you know it's your job. You're able to relax and play with two bona fide receivers in Jefferson and Addison. And now all of a sudden in free agency, you go to Seattle and you know that's your team. So you can play with confidence and poise and rip it and just be relaxed. You don't have to be looking over your shoulder, worrying about if I throw an interception, they're going to yank me. All of those sort of things went on in Carolina and in New York. This is his team. And they rally around him. And that dude, he made a couple plays Sunday. I was like, oh my God. But unfortunately, the bounce off the head.
Key, anybody else that stands out, quarterback, receiver, just anyone defensively that has really impressed you?
I like this Nick Botani, if I'm saying it right.
Oh, Nick Bonito.
Bonito, really good on the defensive side. A lot of people don't realize he leads the league in sacks with 7 of them, right? He's got a lot of pressures. He's a force to be reckoned with. I mean, Abuka in Tampa I mean, he's going to start to get the press down as a rookie dominating at the receiver position. I mean, that's pretty good. Obviously, we talked about Daniel Jones playing pretty good football. You know, Baker, Sam Darnold, all of those guys are doing things that I think a lot of people still have question marks in their head. Can they do this? Can Baker Mayfield be Baker Mayfield without Mike Evans in the lineup? He's clearly showing that he could. Now you have Sam Darnold, because Sam Darnold continued the success that he had in Minnesota. So far, so good. So you start to look at some players. This is, as we get into toward the midway point, you'll start to see those that belong and those that don't.
Ibuka's a P&W kid, Tacoma. We got some guys too. We got some guys too, Key.
Now you claim in Washington. Okay, great. Just great.
I claim Seattle, the 206. Then we got some P&W, and this is my weekly question. Speaking of P&W, I always ask you these strange questions to leave. Would you rather, and you got to pick one. Would you rather go camping in the Olympics 3-4 nights? It's cold, it's rainy, it's soggy, but
the Winter Olympics?
No, I'm talking about the Olympic mountain range in Washington
Olympic
State.
mountain range. Okay.
Would you rather do that, or would you rather go scuba diving? I'm not even talking about with sharks. I just know you don't like to go deep underwater, but you got to pick one.
I would probably rather go to the mountain.
Keyshawn, you up there with a couple mountain lions, couple bears.
Yeah, but I'm in a tent. I probably got some sort of firearm protection.
You might have a Trojan sword.
But maybe that. I probably got some sort of heating lamps and stuff like that.
We'll get you some good coffee.
The scuba diving scares me because I can't swim. That's number one. Number two, the oxygen and the bubbles to the brain and all. I can't do that. I'm not doing that. I'm not. But I did in Bora Bora once upon a time. I did go deep scuba diving, but I had the tank on my head with the air thing coming down. I got a chance. It wasn't that deep though. It was only like 20 feet deep. And
That's
there
no joke.
was guides, but there was guides down there with me.
Yeah, you don't go down there by yourself.
No, I had the little tubey thing on my head and all the fish, and you
I
could
gotta see. Can we get a photo of this for the next show?
I don't have a photo. I don't have it. I don't have a photo. I don't have it. I did not.
This is the kind of valuable content that the Schultz Report needs.
I don't have the photos, but that was fun.
It
was like because I went down, Jordan, and they give you a like a little net bag with bread in it, and as you get in the water, the bread
fishies
dissolves, and all the fishies come and attack around you. It was pretty cool.
Key, we love you. We'll see you next week, and have a great week, brother.
All right, you too.
All right, now let's welcome to the show Miami Dolphins standout tight end, a man who stepped away from the game but didn't miss a beat, Darren Waller. Welcome to the show, my man. Darren, 3 tugs in 2 games. It's like you didn't miss a beat. Are you surprised at how well you played to begin the season?
I would say a little bit yes and no. Just from taking so much time off, you never know what to expect jumping back in the mix out there. It's a fast game. It's a game that you need reps to prepare for, and I didn't have very many, but at the same time I feel like God gave me some gifts, and I've had enough time of playing the game where I can get back out there and my body can kind of react. Things still feel like the game is moving at a slow enough speed for me to process and make a play for my team when they need it.
What was the 631 days like without football? Did you miss it? And if so, I guess how much?
Yeah, I think I did miss it some. I feel like there's a process to get to the point, I guess emotionally, to allow myself to miss it, which I feel like was an integral part of me coming back and seeing there's a lot of value and a lot of life left in me playing football again, whether it's for 1 year or who knows, but yeah, no, I definitely missed the game and started to have a more healthy, balanced relationship with the way that I viewed it, and thought there's some more meat on the bone maybe.
Once you made the decision, Darren, that I want to play again, how long did it take to you to feel realistically like I can, physically?
I decided I was going to play again in June.
Wow.
most guys are getting a whole off season of training. I thought in June, let's go. And I got, I think my body was like, what are we doing here? I had a little bit of a hip injury that I was trying to deal with because I was trying to get it back to top speed, and my body was like, we don't do this anymore. So it took a little bit of fighting through that process, just rehabbing to get back in the mix. But I knew within like my first practice, I was running out there and I was kind of like slipping and tripping over my own feet, and I was like, oh, this could be bad. But then the second practice, I made a few plays and I was like, oh no, this feels like it's something that I can do again.
During that time, were you watching football and being like, oh, I could have made that play? Or were you watching football and paying attention to it?
If I was around friends and people and they had the game on, I was definitely tuned in, and because I guess people like asking me questions, and I'll kind of give it a breakdown because all the meetings and stuff that you learn, it sticks with you forever. But when I was watching attentively, and I found myself enjoying watching and seeing how things were developing and being like, oh, he's blitzing off the side, or they're rolling to this coverage. Just being able to see those things and be like, if I had to get back out there, I could still make something shake.
I don't know, man. To take that much time off, 2 years basically, and come back. And, I don't know if you know this, but you're the number one ranked tight end for PFF right now, receiving tight end. It's an unbelievable thing to do after that much time off. Like, there seems to be like there's very little rust.
Yeah, man. That's where I kind of like it surprises me a little bit that I guess initially there's been so much success as far as like my individual play is concerned. But yeah, I mean, I don't think the body forgets, and I feel like it's really just been blessed with the ability to be able to still go back in and do this, because you don't really see cases of guys stepping away, being able to choose to come back and go to a situation where they're, getting opportunities to really showcase like that. I'm just grateful for how everything has worked together, and that I still have a body that can go out there and produce.
What do you like about playing with Tua? I mean, he's very accurate. I know that. But what do you like about it?
I like how anticipatory he is. That ball is like on you in the timing that you need it to react and make something happen. Just a very calm, poised. Like the same way I kind of approach the game, just not being too tight, like being far from being like tense, but also not being too loose. Like somewhere hovering in that middle is how I like to approach the game and play the game, and I think he does the same. And he's a tough dude, man. It's like some of the things that he's been through to still be out there in the trenches like that, man. Big hats off to him.
You're a tough guy too, and you have talked a lot, Darren, about self-love. I know you just had 8 years of sobriety. Congratulations, absolutely tremendous. When you think about your journey, is there anything you would have changed?
Yeah, no, first off, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it. And second off, I wouldn't, honestly. It's kind of cliche, you look back and see how everything played out, but it's true, man. There's not one situation or process that I've been through in my life that hasn't served me in some way. And that's my addiction to getting sober, to getting back in the league, to wherever, practice squad, to Pro Bowl, to being out the league, injuries, divorce, whatever you look, there's nuggets in all of those if you look close enough that have helped me become a better man and helped me to approach what's on my plate and in front of me right now with a better perspective.
It's very rare for an athlete or anybody, especially in the public eye, to be as open as you've been. And I'm curious, have other people reached out to you saying you've inspired me, Darren, because of you talking about your trials and tribulations?
Yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to hear how people connect, whether it's I've had guys come up to me where guys shake hands and swap jerseys after games that have said something to me along those lines. Guys that I've gone to random recovery meetings and like dudes are like, yeah, I was high on the couch, had just relapsed, and I saw your story on TV and it made me want to get my act together. So it's just like so many wide-ranging stories like that. That's like, I didn't think they were possible when I was just trying to get my shit together. You know what I'm saying? So it's just beautiful how life can come together like that.
What did music provide you, and what has it provided you with? Because obviously, for those who don't know, like, you are a legit rapper. You have bars. I am a big fan. But I didn't know you had that.
Oh man, bro, music has given me balance for a long time. I know people like see me, I've been doing my thing. I kind of stepped away and focused more on music, but I've been making music the entire time I've been in the league. There's a few years where I wasn't sharing with people, and then there's times where I was. People just probably didn't really care that much. But it's always provided a sense of balance for me because football's so aggressive, and you got to be hard nosed, and you got to be tough, and you got to like push through a lot of discomfort. And music for me is more so like expression, and so it's like no matter if I'm feeling like super confident, just want to drop bars, or I want to drop something emotional, like I can use that route to really express myself, and it honestly gives me a fuller cup to go back in and play football. So it's there's multiple versions of me. Music is one of them that complements the football side very much.
If I could think of one word right now to describe you, I might say dynamic, versatile, and that's really cool to me because I try to say this to fans. I try to stress this, that what you see from a football player on a Sunday, that's 3 hours of their day in a long week. That's a small snippet.
One thing I would give to people that may be listening or fans is just like, think of it in terms of you. Like, we go and we prepare and we go to work every day, but it's like we're not sitting in our helmet and shoulder pads just like in a locker until Sunday waiting to go out for the game. Like, we got relationships, we got family, we got friends, people that may need us. Sometimes nights where we struggle to go to sleep. There's things that happen in our lives. So it's just like, I feel like they'd appreciate. I don't want to say they don't appreciate the game. That's crazy.
I understand what you're saying.
Like, you could maybe just a greater understanding for all that we go through to put that product out there on the field to really give y'all our best. We go through a lot to do that, I guess.
If Netflix made a series about Darren Waller, who's playing Darren Waller?
I'm not mad at Michael B. Jordan if he got the time. I know that man. He doing big roles. We might not have the budget for him.
And he's already done it. He's already played a football player, Friday Night Lights.
All right, true.
We talked about music. Would you rather be on the cover of Madden, Darren, or would you rather be on your favorite artist's track?
I might have to take being on a track with my favorite artist because being on the cover of Madden is like, it's so elusive, and it's like you got to be in that top 1%. Like, but you can still be a really, really, really great player and not be on the cover of Madden. But so I think just off being on, I would take being on one of my favorite artists' track for sure.
Who is your favorite artist? Or who are your favorite artists?
I'll put Jay-Z up there. I think Coldplay is really dope. It's one of my favorites.
That was our wedding song. It was Fix You, which is a great song. I love Coldplay. Yeah. So that's a wide variety. You got Jay and Coldplay.
Yeah, and there's so many different artists in between that I would love to figure something out with in the booth.
Is that something that you have the time to do right now, or is that more maybe after football? Like, how do you manage that?
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of time right now. I've been trying to see if I could get something sparked for there's these 2 songs I recorded at the end of camp when my engineer came out here, and I really like them. I just had to put one more verse on them, but I haven't really been feeling inspired in that way, which is cool because when there's seasons where something isn't really coming, there's another season coming where it might flow and not stop. So, but yeah, not a lot of time right now, just really kind of focusing on ball.
I actually listened to a podcast where you said that playing in New York, and I think it was you were playing as a fullback, and that really was instrumental to you. Is that fair to retiring?
I think that day I was being a little extra. It was more so the concept we were running that day is usually a play that a fullback runs.
Okay.
The Giants did not have me technically playing fullback, but that concept is usually built for fullback type bodies.
And you were like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah. And I mean, there was other things I was going through in my life as well that was just like, that were making me feel like I needed to step away, which I feel like was a wise decision. But yeah, at that time, I was just like, I don't know, the more the frustration may not have been directly with that, because I will do some dirty shit. You got to, if you're a good teammate. But it's like, I don't really feel like I was being put in positions for what made me unique to shine. That's what the frustration was probably coming from more.
Specifically, like, your athleticism, your route running, making great big plays.
Yeah, I was filling through the B gap, hitting linebackers and running stick routes, and it's like he ain't getting the best out of me doing that.
I do a show with Draymond, which I also want to get you on, by the way, if you want, because he's a big fan. And it'd be like asking Draymond to like go get you 30. Like, he could probably do it, but it's not really like what his strength is.
Right. Exactly.
How is your hoop game?
I haven't played in a long time, man. I played probably like a couple years ago, but my junior year in high school was my first year playing varsity sports, football and basketball. So I didn't really know what I had either way. and I had a good football year. And then basketball, I made it to like the holiday tournament, like the first couple months of the season. I got kicked off the team. I got arrested. So I never got to see what my game was, but I was averaging a double-double. I could play like mid-range game, dunk above the rim, play defense, rebound, like all the things that you need from, I don't know, Scottie Pippen type player, Draymond Green with maybe a little more bounce.
Yeah, because tight ends, like that's the position that a lot of dudes come from the basketball background. It's a lot of the same stuff, like boxing out somebody in the end zone. I guess the question is, like, if you had taken it and really pursued it, like, do you feel you could have had a real career with it?
I think I definitely could have played in college. There's so many good basketball players at so many different levels that I don't even want to sit here and assume I could have gone wherever, but I feel like I could have gotten an opportunity to play basketball in college, certainly.
How about Darren Waller's top 5 all-time tight ends?
Well, I forgot Gronk on my last top 5,
You
so
can't forget Gronk.
We'll start with Gronk. Travis Kelce, Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates. And then I'm always like, I feel like I'm just leaving a obvious no-brainer.
Shannon Sharp's there.
Yeah, Shannon Sharp. I love Jimmy Graham. He's right on the cusp. He inspired me a lot. I mean, bro, there's so many good tight ends.
How about today? Who are your favorite tight ends playing today?
I've always rooted for Mark just because we had that time together in Baltimore, like his rookie year. So I love watching him play. Trav, of course.
Bowers, the second-year guy.
Oh,
Bowers.
yeah. Rob Bowers is out of control. Dallas Goedert, I think, is really good.
When you think about your legacy, the reason I want to ask this is because I get the feeling that your legacy, like football is an important but a small part of it. What are some of the other things that you really want to pursue? Not only now, but certainly post-football.
For me, it's more so like, what are all the avenues that I can really, I guess, use my voice?
Yeah.
Whether that's something in media, something I've really enjoyed all the times I've gotten to speak publicly. I really feel inspired doing that. Whether it's some level of a mentorship role, probably have a book in me just off of all the wild experiences and ups and downs of my life. So probably trying to step into that lane.
You've done some public speaking?
Yeah, paid public speaking, free public speaking, show up to schools. Like it's however you look at it, whether it's 5-figure speaking gigs to nothing. I'll just show up.
What's that like for you? Like, first of all, are you nervous? And then secondly, what do you get from it?
I'm definitely nervous. Not like a out of control, like overwhelming nervous, but more so just like I care a lot. So I'm like thinking about, let me make sure I'm saying something that's worth listening to. And within the first couple minutes, I'm loose and kind of just going. I try not to go into it with too much structure, like a little bit enough to keep me on track and not just a hour-long ramble. But yeah, I get a lot of it. I see the way people like look at me or like will just start nodding and just being like, they kind of get off that energy of like, oh, I know what you're talking about. I've experienced that, like feeling that connection from people and then getting to talk to them after and see how they may have related and be like, oh, I thought I was just getting talked at from this super successful human being, but I see me and what you have to say. So just kind of just bridging that gap with people.
On a daily basis, Darren, how tapped in are you, to how you're feeling and struggles and all of that you go through? Because obviously there's a lot going on with football, but how much attention are you paying to your inner self?
A lot. I'm still doing therapy twice a week virtually, meditating daily, journaling to wrap up my day. I go to recovery meetings. I got a couple guys that I am a sponsor, mentor type of role for. So it's like a lot of those things keep me balanced and keep me checked into myself because, football is fast moving. A lot of things going on at once. It's you got to be intentional and carving that time for yourself, show up for you because the game can drain you in a lot of ways.
It's not like I recovered. It's a 24/7 recovery.
Correct. And it's like I'm not tempted to drink or use any longer, but I am tempted to use other behaviors in addictive ways. And so it's like what's behind wanting to do those addictive behaviors addictively is what I need to keep working on.
The fact that you're still doing therapy is so dope to me. It's incredible.
I got a lot spinning up here, man. It's like I feel like people may think I'm calm, cool, and collected, which I feel like I am. I feel like I'm at peace a lot, but there's also a lot of combat going on upstairs.
Is it more important for you, Darren, to be remembered for what you've done on the field or off?
I think now I want to say both. I don't even want to separate the two because it's like they both go together. I feel like I spend a lot of time separating the two and trying to be like, hey, look at me, like I'm not all football. But it's like a lot of character development and growth in ways that I've matured has come through things I've learned from football and how it requires you to be disciplined. So I'd say both because I've had my internal battles. I've had my battles with loving the game, struggling to love the game. Like it's all intertwined. Nothing that is really separate in my story at all.
After your first game back, you said that it felt like you were a kid again. What did you mean by that? Almost as if carefree.
Like once the game started, free of fear, free of needing to uphold any kind of image. Like when you play football as a kid, it's like I'm just going to play in the street because I love it. And it felt just really, really, really close to that. I didn't feel like I had to go out there and prove anything. I didn't feel like I had to do anything miraculous. I could just go out there and be who I am, provide what I can provide. And it just doesn't take a lot of effort to enjoy. And I'm so glad that I got that opportunity.
Yeah, I could see it from just watching on TV. You were smiling. I mean, you were making big plays, which helps. But, man, You looked so happy and so free. And I saw it again the other night. I mean, 3 tugs in 2 games. But you just felt to me like you were so at peace on that field. It was beautiful to see, man.
Yeah, it's a crazy, crazy journey that we're even back here because I didn't think I'd be here, but I am enjoying it.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on. It's an absolute pleasure. And wish you nothing but success, and would love to stay tapped in, especially as you pursue everything post-football, which I know will be very successful and enjoyable as well. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me, man.
And now for our weekly bets presented by Fanatic Sportsbook. Now, you already know the drill. I haven't seen these yet. My team put them together, and I'm picking between the two. Let's get into it. All right, we got the Giants plus 7.5 over the Eagles, or the Colts minus 6.5 over the Cardinals. Let's lay the lumber. Give me Daniel Jones to continue the hot play. Indianapolis minus 6.5. Then we got the Patriots minus 3.5 over New Orleans. Dallas minus 3.5 over Carolina. This is a tough one. I'm going to shock everyone. I'm going to go Carolina plus 3.5. Carolina plus 3.5. Everyone's talking about how great Dallas is. We talked about them on the show and how impressed they've been offensively. I'm going to go Carolina, getting 3.5. Sneaky play there. Then we got Seahawks plus 1 over Jacksonville, or Detroit plus 2.5 over Kansas City. I like Jacksonville, and I like the Chiefs. I'm going to go the Chiefs minus 2.5 on Sunday Night Football against Detroit. Big game for both teams. That is as good a game as it gets in Week 6. Give me the Chiefs, laying 2.5. And before we get out of here today, I want to introduce you to a new segment we're calling Jordan's Group Chat, a peek into some of my conversations with some of my best friends. Today, it's Josh Hart. Now, Josh is a Commanders super fan, not to mention Knicks standout guard forward. He is also the worst fantasy manager in history, quite frankly. Now, we have a league we're in together called Josh Hart's Fantasy League or Football League. He is so bad. He's not only 0-5, but his team, Finding Debo, is dead last in points. He has been horrendous. So I want to apologize to Josh on behalf of the entire Fantasy League for making him be commissioner when he's downright bad. Josh has also been bothering me with Commanders questions. Last week it was, when are we going to trade for a defensive end or a corner? Now, I don't think Washington's there yet. The reason I say that, they come off a big win against the Chargers, a very good Chargers team, and both the pass rush and the secondary held up against Justin Herbert and company. So, Josh, hang tight, be patient. A move or two might be made. It's not going to happen just yet. But if I were you, Jay Hart, I'd worry less about the Commanders and more about Finding Debo, the worst fantasy football team in history. And that's it for episode 6 of the Schultz Report. Thank you, as always, to Keyshawn Johnson for checking in. And a big thank you to Darren Waller for taking the time. Awesome stuff from the Dolphins tight end. And, of course, thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We'll see you on Saturday.